I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Now would you make welcome straight from Washington, D.C., the United States Army Corps Quartet.
Yeah.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Oh, yeah! Come on, folks, let them know it.
Let them know it. Let them know it. the United States Army Barbershop Quartet performing at the Barbershop Quartet Convention in 2015. The Barbershop Quartet Convention hosts gave us the Pledge of Allegiance just prior to the singing of our nation's national anthem. We appreciate this very much. Our soldiers, men and women, whoever they might be throughout the globe, we thank you for your service. God bless you all, as well as our allies in their armed forces, wherever they might be. May you all return home to your families in safety after your tours of duty end. God bless you, and thank you so ever much for your service. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate it. Folks, we've got a lot to talk about tonight. As we have said before, this is a day. It really has been a day. Just to give you an idea of where we've come from, and I'm sorry we had no sound at the beginning. I have to constantly check that because of the power that this platform has. It knocks out our sound. So I have to make sure we turn on the sound again, always. And if you hear thunder in the background, we just started a storm. Some 2.5 hours ago, we had storm warnings that said within the hour. The hour passed. We had broken clouds out here, white puffy clouds, and during the past 40 minutes, the storm has moved in. Yes, we're extremely late on this program tonight, and I apologize for that. We've been busy with a lot of things today. Let me talk about that. The number one on the hit parade is we had one of our own family members that came up with a problem late last night, and we had to address it. Since then, I've been doing a complete background check on the person that caused the issues, and I'm still in the process of doing that background check, as I would do for any of you if somehow your appearance on our programs or our chat rooms became a problem. It has for one individual, and presently that individual may or may not be with us. I hope they're with us here today on our program. But if you don't see her in our chat rooms on Messenger, that is why. We're not going to give you her name or any other information about her at this point in time. But needless to say, we are protecting her at this point in time. And like I said, I am doing a background check on the individual that caused us the problems. She's been removed from our chat rooms. She's been removed from this program. She will not be appearing here ever again. She's been permanently banned. Just to give you an idea, this is a very serious case. This is involving the federal government, okay? I'm protecting her, and I'm going to always do that for any of you as well. Now, folks, beyond that, there's something else that happened last night, and I'm going to give you an idea what happened, okay? This, see that small white round orb in the sky? This was over Odessa, Texas last night, okay? It's now become a big deal. Many military members have been involved in tracking this and other orbs, and I can't say unidentified flying objects, but flying objects that we do not have any ID over, okay? It's not the first time. This is the first time that we've talked about it on this program. Now, this is a picture of that white object, very bright white object in the sky. No, this is not SpaceX satellites. It's not involving Starlink at all, okay? It's not a planet. It's not a moon. This is an object in the sky. Now, let me show you something else, okay? We obtained footage of this craft, Okay, I want to show you what we found. Now this is only about 17 seconds, and I will play it on a loop here. Okay, look at that white object that is going left on your screen. That was ejected from that other white object. And even though this video makes it appear that this object is flying slowly, it is not. The object that we have been talking about here is flying at a very fast rate of speed. Faster than any aircraft that we know of. It is also, folks, at a lower altitude than any aircraft that we have seen. And one of you gave me the information last night. And I've been doing research. It has been reported to the National UFO Center, Reporting Center, and we are presently in the process of getting more and more information about this. And if any more information comes available, we will let you know about it. But I wanted to show you this. Again, this object that you see flying at a high rate of speed was ejected from that other bright object earlier than that. And let me point out something else, as long as we have both objects here on the screen, on the slide. That bright white object was ejecting material from all sides of it last night. We don't know what that material was, but it was actually shooting out from every side of that craft, whatever it is. Okay? Now, I want to tell you something else. United States Air Force did not get dispatched on this one. Whatever the case, the United States Air Force Base out of Austin, Texas, probably one of the closest ones, was not dispatched on this craft for whatever reason. But I wanted to show you this. It had a lot of people in the area of Odessa, Texas, worried about it last night. I still believe it's a big deal. Okay? Don Patoka says it's a suspended thingamajig. I agree. I totally agree. It's a suspended thingamajig. Okay? So anyway, there's that. Now, I wanted to talk about something else that I think that is very important. Okay? We've had fires in Odessa, Texas, or not Texas, Nova Scotia. We've had fires over Nova Scotia. Those fires were under control as of June 14th this past month. Okay? The fires were under control as of June 14th this month. Now, folks, there's a lot more to this story than that. Okay? All the wildfires were under control more than 2 weeks after they started. The fires scorched some 23,525 hectares. Scorching 23,525 hectares. A hectare by United States count is equal to 0.405 acres, about a quarter of an acre. This fire burnt 58,131.541 acres. 58,131.5 acres before it was brought under control and eventually extinguished. And with that said, okay, there's more to this story than that. Okay? Our friend Richard Smith, during yesterday's Sunday school class, had told us that there were problems there in Nova Scotia. Huge problems. Let's address that right now. There are huge floods of biblical proportions in Nova Scotia. 3 months worth of rain fell over Nova Scotia during the past 72 hours, forcing evacuations as crews searched for missing people. Canadian authorities on Saturday urged some Nova Scotia residents to evacuate as torrential rains and flooding plagued the area and threatened to overwhelm a dam. Threatened to overwhelm a dam, guys. This is how serious that was. Now, I'm going to go through and show you pictures of what happened in Nova Scotia throughout this presentation. Okay? Again, this was a huge deal. It was definitely a huge deal. Okay? And if Richard Smith or anybody else had any very huge problems, I am so sorry. Richard Smith is in the chat reporting 4 people missing, 1 body found, and human remains. As of Saturday, a province-wide state of emergency had been declared in response to the severe flooding in Nova Scotia. The order is in place to make sure the entire province is protected as the storm continues to progress. The state of emergency remained in effect and still remains in effect until August 5th this year. August 5th, 2023, unless the government terminates or extends it. Now, at one point there was a threatened dam overflow. An evacuation was issued for the St. Croix River system area. The dam risked of breaching. The province's Emergency Management Office announced that they were possibly going to have water released from that dam because it was overflowing the dam. Environment Canada said some parts of the province had received at that point in time on Saturday more than 6 inches of rain, 15 centimeters of rain. That was according to Reuters Saturday. Nova Scotia Power tweeted Saturday they had activated their Emergency Operations Center in response to the thunderstorms. As the storm continued, bringing lightning and flooding to parts of the province, and restrictions and roadblocks to prevent anybody from going further into the water. There may be a restoration delays due to road conditions. Okay? Restoration delays in getting power to people, making sure they have enough electricity to survive. Okay? I spoke with them earlier, well, actually, late this morning. Late this morning. So anyway, they are presently still working on making sure everybody has power. They've been dealing with this now for 72 hours. 72 hours of extensive flooding there in Nova Scotia. Okay? It's really bad. I feel for those people. I really feel for those people. This is what happened here. A man is in waders wading through a parking lot. Waders wading through a parking lot. An evacuation center had been set up in the province. Minister of Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship, Sean Fraser, who is an MP representing the region, it's like a legislator in the United States. That's what an MP is. Sean Fraser, representing the region, said on Saturday, "The flooding in Nova Scotia is extremely serious and poses a danger to the general public." He said, "We stand ready to support. In the meantime, please continue to follow all advice from local officials. To all Nova Scotians, we will get through this together." Officials said later Saturday that the dam was no longer at risk, and it is being monitored very carefully. 3 months worth of rain over the course of one day has flooded the Canadian province of Nova Scotia since Friday night, inundating streets, forcing evacuation, and leaving at least 4 people missing, including 2 children. Okay? including 2 beautiful young children. In this photograph here, you see a bridge washed out. A province-wide state of emergency has been declared, including for the Halifax Regional Municipality, as well as nearby East Hants, West Hants, Lunenburg, and Queens, or Lunenburg, Lunenburg, and Queens. Halifax Mayor Mike Savage said, "We've had biblical proportions of rain over the night and into Saturday." On Sunday, Canadian police said they were continuing to search for 2 children, a youth and a man, who had gone missing after vehicles they were traveling in were submerged in 2 separate incidents early Saturday. Folks, have we not told everybody? And I know water comes out of nowhere very fast, but if you see water, covering a street or a parking lot, stay out of it. Yesterday evening, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police Underwater Recovery Team conducted an underwater search of a flooded field and located an unoccupied pickup truck, believed to have been the vehicle that the children had been driving in. Now, they said search efforts continue in that same area for the 4 people and the second vehicle. Premier Tim Houston said, "Thank you to Nova Scotia's first responders for their incredible work in response to the floods." Houston told a news conference Saturday that 3 people traveling with the missing children had managed to escape their vehicle and 2 people had been rescued from the other car. He said, "I cannot stop thinking about these families and these 4 individuals. I want them to know that everything that can be done is being done. I know the entire province joins me in praying for their safe return." An estimated 250 millimeters, 25.4 inches of rain has continued to batter the province over a day and a half, and then into yesterday. Houston said that we got 3 inches worth of rain, 3 months worth of rain in less than 24 hours. It came fast and it came furious. On Sunday, he told, which was yesterday, he told reporters and authorities that they were working to repair closed roads and compromised infrastructure systems. He said that they have over 25 bridges impacting across the province. 19 have been damaged. Investigations continue on that, but six of those bridges were completely destroyed. In a further news conference, he said, "It's incredible to see the force of the water and the impact it has had." He said, "We're working quickly as possible to get our roads back open." A temporary bridge is also expected to be completed Sunday night so the nearly 400 people that have been isolated at the motocross track in East Hants can return to their destinations, according to Nova Scotia's Department of Public Works. As hundreds make their return home following evacuations, others are still displaced, and they're receiving assistance from the Red Cross, according to Nova Scotia officials this morning. About 750 people were ordered to leave the Halifax area overnight Friday, while more than 400 homes have been evacuated in Lunenburg, Lunenburg. Water levels remain high in many impacted areas of the province, so residents are still being urged to shelter in place. Only return home if you're advised that it is safe to do so. The state of emergency declaration remains into effect, like we told you earlier, until August 5th, unless officials terminate it or they extend it. Once again, That community is facing the awful force and unpredictability of nature and climate. That's according to Mayor Savage. This has been an extraordinary event, and I know that it follows on the heels of those wildfires of not very long ago, and even Hurricane Fiona from last fall. Some communities in the Halifax area are still recovering from that large wildfire that started in late May, which led to evacuation orders for some 16,400 residents and that destroyed 151 homes. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's office has said that they are supporting the Nova Scotia residents in a post on Twitter. They're saying that all air and marine assistance, they're providing resources to help with evacuations. And they said, we are standing ready to provide any additional federal Canadian resources as needed. Please stay safe, everyone. Trudeau also spoke with Mayor Houston on Saturday and emphasized federal and local collaboration with search and rescue efforts. Trudeau's office told us earlier today that they are staying on top of this and they will resolve it and they will get residents returned to their homes as soon as they possibly could. The Prime Minister also reiterated the Government of Canada's commitment to supporting Nova Scotia in the days to come. Now, this may be a long period. He said this may be a long period. He also acknowledged the strength of the Nova Scotians, who are coming together in hard times and showing up for each other. That in and of itself is a beautiful thing. Residents working together, coming together to overcome these problems. This again is huge. That area was heavily flooded. Okay? Heavily flooded. You can see how far those floods stretched. It's unfathomable in my mind. And I've been in flooded areas. I've been at Hurricane Katrina after the fact. Folks, I've seen it. I've seen pictures. I've done disaster drills. I spent some time trying to locate a picture of me around some flooded homes. Folks, this is insane. This is completely insane. I wish that I could be there helping them. Those people in Nova Scotia need our help and our prayers. And our prayers go out to them at this point in time. Richard Smith is here saying Nova Scotia built OS small towns, and that's wonderful. That's wonderful. Nova Scotia is one of the most beautiful areas. I have friends besides Richard that live there. It's beautiful. It's a stunning area. Okay? I don't know if anybody will ever have the chance to travel there again because of all the crazy, stupid restrictions that are in place. And believe me, I have checked those over the past 2 years. Most of those restrictions are still in place, unfortunately. But folks, they will recover. Linda Covington is asking, do they have FEMA type agencies? They have the emergency management agencies that act like FEMA. And they are receiving help from the federal government, the Canadian government there. Okay? Trudeau's office told me today that they are working with the local officials, the mayor, and the province leaders there, and they're going to do their best to make sure people are helped. The U.S. Coast Guard has also offered their assistance. Okay? So that's what's going on, guys. Lyndon's also asking, do they have government support like flood or fire insurance? I didn't ask. I don't know. Richard, if you know, you can answer that question here in the chat. And I'll be happy to put that out as well. But these folks, this did not happen suddenly on Friday night. It happened over a period of 72 hours. By Saturday morning, they had already gotten a ton of rain, and it's continued. It's continued. Richard Smith says, thank you, EMA, for your prayers. Everybody, and that's one of the reasons I'm putting this out tonight. Everyone needs to pray for these wonderful people in Canada. They have been through heck and back. First with fires that burned thousands of hectares. They've been through flooding that's now flooded their communities, and there have been some people killed. I'm praying that that death toll won't rise very much, if at all. It's very sad. It's very sad. Richard Smith says private insurance says yes. Well, that's what I was hoping you'd say, Richard. That's exactly what I was hoping you'd say. Does anybody have any questions about Nova Scotia? This has been a very thing that people would not have even known about had it not happened. Okay? It's very sad. It's very sad. We reported on the fires. But when we hear this kind of thing happen, it's just a very sad day. Okay? It really is. Now, I want to get talking about some earthquakes that have happened. Let me take this thing down. Let me move over my mug so you can see this map that I want to show you here. Yes, this is a USGS map. Okay, let me show you this, guys. I am kind of taken back. I'm showing you a 6.0 earthquake that happened yesterday night at 10:49 p.m. This is in the south of Fiji. The south of Fiji. Now I'm going to back this out. You can see where this earthquake hit. It's on the westernmost Fiji Trench. It's just west of the westernmost Fiji Trench. This Fiji Trench reaches further south. Okay? I'm going to back it out so you can see it. Look how far that trench reaches. All the way down into New Zealand. All the way down into New Zealand. This earthquake, this 6.0 earthquake, was 339 miles deep. This is one of the deepest earthquakes that we have seen in this region. 339 miles deep. Okay? This is going to result in at least a 7.2 to 7.4 major earthquake. As we spoke of before, these big earthquakes, or any earthquake whatsoever, with a deep depth of it, could spawn a larger, shallower quake. 339 miles deep. Okay? This is a very strong 6.0. It did not generate any tsunami. This did not generate any tsunami. Now, it did generate 4 aftershocks. 4 aftershocks. This is a 5.0 aftershock. This happened at 1:02 this morning. 1:02 this morning. This earthquake is a 5.0 large quake. This is also a very deep quake. 342 miles deep. This is going to generate a 6.2 earthquake. This 5.0 earthquake is going to generate a 6.2 strong earthquake, very strong earthquake. Okay? Earthquake just to the north of the 6.0. This happened at 09:02 a.m. this morning. 9:02 a.m. this morning. This is also a very deep earthquake. 351 miles deep. This is also going to generate a 6.0 earthquake. Close to a 6.0 earthquake. This one further to the north. This is a 4.7. This is 344 miles deep. This can also generate a 5.8 to a 6.0 earthquake. Okay? So as a result of this 6.0, okay, that's going to generate a 7.2 to 7.4 magnitude earthquake, a major earthquake. Each of these other lesser magnitude quakes, and yes, this is a 5.0. This one and this one, 5.0 earthquakes, 342 miles deep. They're going to generate a 6.0 earthquake. 6.0 to 6.4 magnitude earthquake. The others are going to generate over a 5.5 to 5.7 earthquake, I believe, up to 5.8. Okay? That is 4 more large to major, actually large to very strong to a major earthquake sometime in the next 10 days. If the theory still runs true, and I think it does, we're going to see some large, very strong 6s and possibly a major 7.2, 7.4 magnitude earthquake, either in this region or west to New Caledonia. West to New Caledonia. It could generate up in Fiji. It could generate up here in the Fiji region up here. It could also be generated over here to the Tonga region. Tonga and Samoa. It could also go over here to the west, to the Vanuatu, the Solomon Islands, or over in here to Indonesia and Papua New Guinea. Or it could also go over here to Australia. It could go over here to Australia. It's almost straight west from where these earthquakes hit. It could also go east over here to Chile and Argentina. We've already seen some very large earthquakes over here. Okay? This one over in Chile, for example, was a 4.9, 5.0 earthquake, a shallow 2-mile deep earthquake. Excuse me, 1-mile deep earthquake. Okay? A 5.0 large earthquake over here. This is in the Andes Mountains, 18 miles east-northeast of Macale, Chile. Okay? 18 miles east-northeast from Macale, Chile. And further north here, this is a 4.3 moderate quake. Now they have started calling these moderate quakes light quakes. please guys, please, for whatever it's worth, please don't even think of these as light quakes. Moderate quakes cause damage. 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes are called moderate quakes, and they cause damage. They're calling them light quakes to relieve people's concern about some of these quakes. Okay? Don't get confused that these 4.0 to 4.9 earthquakes don't cause damage, because they do. Now, this agency, like we have said before, they're not showing any other earthquakes here in South America. That's a lie. There are plenty of other earthquakes here, about 18 earthquakes here, that they do not want people to know about. Let's go over here to Indonesia. Look at this. They're not showing any earthquakes in Indonesia, and only one over off the southern part of the Philippines here. Okay? This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake, 63 miles southwest of Matium, Philippines. Okay? They're not showing anything. Richard Smith says, everyone please show Ron some love. Smash that like button. That would be very much appreciated, guys. Thank you so much for that, Richard. God bless you. We appreciate that. Please, folks, before you get through out of here tonight, please make sure you hit that like button. We'd greatly appreciate it. And also, if you feel so inclined, leave us a comment below this program after you get off tonight. Please leave us comments after that. Please stick around for our entire program. We have a lot more to talk about here. Okay? It's very important. Lives depend on it. Okay? Now, we showed this map on Friday night. USGS did not show any earthquakes around Japan. Today, they're showing an earthquake here. This is in the Bonin Islands off the southeast side of Japan. This is a 4.4 earthquake. This is also a minor, not a minor, but it's also going to minor depths of 34 miles deep. That means this earthquake was in the crust of the earth. It was not down into the asthenosphere, which is where the plastic magma is. This earthquake was in the crust of the earth, meaning it was a tectonic quake. And it sits right along that ridge, that huge Japanese ridge here. Okay? It's a super highway for earthquakes. Another earthquake that hit Japan today is over inside of town. This is a 4.4 moderate earthquake. Moderate earthquake has moderate damage. Moderate earthquakes such as this, a 4.4 moderate quake, can also knock pictures off of walls, books off of shelves, and knickknacks off of shelves as well. It can rattle plates and dishes. Okay? If the glass is thin enough, it might even break glass. Now, with that said, this is a 4.4 earthquake. It hit in the middle of a big city. Let me show you this. Look at that. It hit on the waterway right in the middle of this big, huge city here. Okay? A 4.4 earthquake 2 miles west of Moriba, Japan. Okay? Let me tell you about moderate earthquakes as this. Moderate earthquakes, folks, can have a lot of damage. A few years back in 2014, I responded to a call from Los Angeles after they had had a 4.5 earthquake that I had been monitoring on the internet. I heard about it. I immediately went to Channel 5 television in Los Angeles and have been monitoring the quake. Please stand by for just a second. I'm going to turn on the light here so you can see me. Now we have light. Let there be light. Anyway, I responded to Los Angeles. They asked me to come to LA because they had had a 4.5 earthquake. Now, that's one minor magnitude above this 4.4. Why am I talking about this? Okay, again, the agencies want you to think that this is a light quake. 4.4 is just a light quake. Guess what? In all actuality, that earthquake caused the studio lights in the KTLA studios to move all over the place. There was concern that those lights might fall to the ground. The news anchors dove under their news desk. Okay? One of my best friends was a newscaster for KTLA back then. Carlos Amezcua was his name. Now, Carlos Amezcua is a good guy. Okay? I've known him for quite some time. He and his co-anchor dove under that news desk as those studio lights in the news station were flying back and forth around them. After the quake stopped, they got up from under the news desk and continued their broadcast talking about the earthquake. Shortly after that, I got the call from Los Angeles. They said a plane ticket was waiting for me at the Salt Lake Airport. Would I go there? Yes, I will. So I flew there. As I found out later, there had been gas mains that broke. There were water mains that broke. Glass breakage all over Los Angeles. Huge windows in stores and properties broke from the shaking of a 4.5. I believe it was much larger than that, and this may well have been as well in Japan, because I believe they're downgrading the quakes. Okay? So please, guys, please don't let them fool you. Don't let them fool you. Moderate quakes can cause damage. And it caused a lot of damage in Los Angeles. Like I said, I believe that 4.5 was really at least a 5.0 large quake. At least. It caused millions of dollars damage in the city and county of LA. All over. All over, guys. Now, I was there in Los Angeles for quite a period of time. And I tried to help the people in charge there, the emergency management people and even the politicians, to make sure they had things under control before I left. And I got a lot of flack from some citizens in Los Angeles. My email was bombarded because I went there and did not force them to move the oil and gas refinery system in Los Angeles. It was right next to a freeway interchange. It was also right next to some homes. Well, guess what, guys? Who was there first? The oil refinery. After that, they built the homes near the oil refinery. They also built the freeway system. Yet the people wanted the freeway system moved and wanted the oil refinery moved. Sorry, I don't hold that much clout. I just don't. Yes, there's downgrading the quakes, guys. They're downgrading them. I know for a fact. And folks, I've been criticized, I think I told you on Friday, on our program, on Thursday, I've been talking about this agency downgrading quakes. I've been talking significantly about it for a long time. And I had somebody actually threaten my life, telling me I better watch out. I better stop talking negatively about USGS, or something could happen. Okay? That's how they treat me. That's how they keep treating me. Keep threatening me, guys. Go ahead. Make my day. Here's another earthquake over off of North Honshu here. Northeast Honshu. This is a 4.4 earthquake, 43.9 miles deep. This could be, in all actuality, down in the asthenosphere, the plastic magma area. Why? Because, folks, in different areas around the globe, the crust could be anywhere from 39 miles deep down to 69 miles deep. This is down 43.9, 50 miles deep. Okay? A 4.4 earthquake. So this might have been generated from way down deep. Now, if you notice, this is not that far west from this earthquake fault. Okay? But guys, these earthquakes are tectonic quakes. However, this one may be related to magma beneath the crust. Just so you know. Okay? Now, I go up here to Kamchatka Peninsula in Russia. They show nothing. Nothing. As they don't show hardly anything throughout Europe. Look at that, guys. Nothing throughout Europe. And let me tell you, there are earthquakes in Europe. Earthquakes, there is a minor tremor up here in southern Norway. Southern Norway. Over up here in Iceland here, there are 20 quakes. 20 quakes here in Iceland. Guess what? 10 of them are right here at the volcano that's still erupting. Litla Ruter volcano. Litla Ruter volcano. It's still erupting. Okay? There are 10 earthquakes over here. Well, not 10. There's probably 9 earthquakes up here on the northern side of Iceland. There's a few earthquakes down here to the southeast. These are also volcanoes. Just so you know. Okay? Now, before they take it down, I want to go over here, and yes, I'm going to get to Cascadia in just a minute. Okay? Just off the coast down here, Central America, off the coast of El Salvador, there's a 4.1 earthquake, 37 miles deep on the Cocos Plate. A 4.1 moderate earthquake on the Cocos Plate. This is also 4.2. Again, off the coast of El Salvador. This is 41 miles deep. I still believe both of these earthquakes are because they are tectonic quakes on the Cocos Plate. Okay? But we have earthquakes all over Europe. Spain, Gibraltar area here. The Canary Islands down here. The Azores here has quakes. France. The Alps have earthquakes. Italy has earthquakes. Sicily has earthquakes. The Czech Republic here. Romania has quakes. Greece has quakes. Turkey is full of quakes. There are over 50 earthquakes in this same area where a 9 to 10.0 earthquake hit here just at the beginning of the year in January. That's going to take an awful long time for those aftershocks to stop. There's over 50 earthquakes right here. Okay? There's some earthquakes over here in Iraq, Iran, Saudi Arabia here, and over this one over here in there's another, I believe it's a 4.2 earthquake over here in northwestern India. Okay? Myanmar over here has also had a quake here. This is a 4.4 here in Myanmar. 65 miles deep, probably down in the asthenosphere, although this is also on the edge of the craton here. The edge of the plate is here, and you can see the earthquake fault here. The edge of the craton here. Okay? Richard Smith says steam pressure off the charts. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely it is. Now I'm going to go over here to Alaska and then over to Cascadia. Okay? Over here where that earthquake struck off of Sandpoint, Alaska, we have two aftershocks today. This is a 4.5 aftershock, 26 miles deep. 26 miles deep. This is a 3.7, 29 miles deep. Notice the relationship between the depth and both of these earthquakes. Okay? Aftershocks of that huge earthquake that hit here just a couple weeks ago. Okay? You'll also notice that all over southern central Alaska, they're getting hit. Most of them are minor tremors. However, there are some minor earthquakes as well. 2.0 or 2.9 are minor earthquakes. This down here is a 2.4 near Kokonuk, Alaska. Kokhanok, Alaska. Coconut, Alaska. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I don't know for sure. It's probably Russian. Okay, Russia had Alaska before we did. They gave it to us for $1, basically. Okay? Then over here near Anchorage, you don't see any earthquakes except this one over here in the northern Cook Strait. Or excuse me, the Cook Inlet here. This is a 1.4 in Kenai Peninsula area. Okay? We go north, and the biggest one here is a 2.3 near Skeeton, Alaska, north of Mount Redoubt. Skeeton, Alaska, north of Mount Redoubt here. Mount Redoubt is a volcano. We go up to Denali National Park. Again, they're saying this is southeast of Denali National Park. It's not. It's in Denali National Park. This is a 2.4 earthquake. A 2.4 earthquake on the northern side of Mount McKinley. Mount McKinley. Over here, this is a 1.1 tremor. Okay? 35 miles south of Denali. No, it's not. It's on the western side of Denali. You can see it. So USGS has misidentified where these quakes are. What the heck do they think they're doing? I don't know. I just don't know. Then this earthquake up north, okay? This is just south of the Arctic Circle. This is a 1.3 tremor up here in northern Alaska, and it's very shallow. It's 1/10 of a mile deep up here at the Arctic Circle. Now we go up into the Arctic Circle. This is Katavik, Alaska. This is a 2.4 minor earthquake here up in Katavik, Alaska. We are monitoring Katavik, Alaska very closely because 2 days prior to the Ridgecrest earthquake, Katavik, Alaska had a 5.0. And not, some people say, Ron, you don't have to watch Katavik. Well, guess what? I am. I'm watching it to see if there's any correlation between a large earthquake here and what happened in Ridgecrest. So I'm going to continue to watch that. Okay? Then, and again, USGS is not even showing what's going on here. Okay? This earthquake is in southeastern Alaska. It's a 2.2 minor earthquake. One just north of there. This is 1.4 tremor. Okay? 1.4 tremor. And this one up further north. This is a 1.3 near McCarthy, Alaska. McCarthy, Alaska. However, there's a bunch of other earthquakes and tremors all over the southeastern area near Juneau. Near Juneau. And folks, there's another volcano right in here. There's another volcano right in here. So again, they're not going to show much of anything, are they? Whatever. They're also not showing any earthquakes here near Queen Charlotte Island. Really? Why not? I would like a good reason why they're not showing anything. Well, guess what, guys? This one is a 3.5. I'm going to show you a 3.5 just off the coast of Queen Charlotte Island here.
Earthquake downgraded to 5.5 from 5.7. Location, Timor Region, Indonesia. Class, moderate, depth, 58.4
Okay,
miles.
they're talking about another 4.5 earthquake in Timor, Indonesia. And yet USGS is not even showing it. They're not. Okay? Let me show you this too. I showed you this area around Juneau, Alaska here. They're not showing anything. How about this 1.59 near Juneau, Alaska? Okay? Or this other earthquake here. This is near Skagway. This is a 1.88 tremor near Skagway, Alaska. Okay? They're not showing it. Why not? Why not? Okay? They showed you those others, but why are they not showing you this last 3 earthquakes I showed you? Then, okay? Yes, I'm going to scroll down here to Vancouver Island. Well, guess what? Off the southwestern side of Vancouver Island, this is over at the Juan de Fuca Plate. A 2.43, 115 miles west of Port Alice, British Columbia. A 2.43, 115 miles west of Port Alice, British Columbia. And this is a 2.69 west of Tofino, British Columbia. So here we have 2 mid-range minor quakes over here in the Juan de Fuca Plate area. Why are they not showing those? Inquiring minds want to know, don't they? Right here in the Juan de Fuca Plate area. They're not showing them. Inquiring minds would love to know. Now, I want to show you the difference between the EMSC map and USGS tonight. USGS is actually showing quite a few earthquakes here in the Pacific Northwest tonight, while as the EMSC map is only showing a 1.53 near Quilcene, Washington. That's the only earthquake that they're showing here in the Pacific Northwest. Why not? I don't know why the European system did not show these earthquakes that USGS is now showing you. Okay? This, folks, is 1.3 magnitude tremor. Guess where? Can any of you guess where this is? This is Glacier Peak. This is Glacier Peak. This is an active volcano. This is a very active volcano. Glacier Peak got hit by at least a 1.3 tremor today. And no, I have not pulled all of the seismograms for this area yet tonight. I just ran out of time. But here we have a 1.7 magnitude earthquake. We have a 1.7 magnitude earthquake at Glacier Peak. And the Europeans didn't show it. Okay? Further south, this is near Lyman, Washington. This is 0.8 microquake in Lyman, Washington. Then we go down to the Puget Sound area. Okay? This, folks, is a 0.8 microquake. This is at Clinton, Washington. 19 miles deep. 19 miles deep. The Puget Sound area, guys. This is where we're going. Okay? This is the Cascadia subduction zone. Okay? This is also 1.5 near Colosine, Washington. It's the same one I got through showing you on the USGS, not USGS, but the EMSC European map. Then we go south. You don't see any earthquakes at Mount Rainier. Okay? I know for a fact there are a bunch of earthquakes there. Mostly ones, tremors, but a bunch of twos. A bunch of twos, and possibly even a 3.0 minor or small quake. 3.0 small quake. We jump down to Mount St. Helens, guys. Mount St. Helens. Look what we have here. They're showing us two events here. This one here is on the southwestern slopes of Mount St. Helens. They're calling this a 0.0 surface quake. Guys, this is 5 miles deep. How can this be a surface quake when it's 5 miles deep? I guarantee you there's a bunch of earthquakes and tremors here at St. Helens. This one up here near the rim of the crater. This could be very deep as well. This is a 0.5 microquake, and this is 3.7 miles deep. Okay? It's down inside the volcano, in the magma chamber of the volcano. Alright? So they're trying to call a surface quake when it's not. It's incredible. Then south of St. Helens here. This is 19 miles northeast, allegedly, from Amboy, Washington. This is a 0.2 microquake, 7 miles deep. 7 miles deep, probably a magma chamber leading to St. Helens. Okay? Then we come down here. Okay? I just love this here. I just love this. Again, this is a 1.0 alleged explosion. Explosion in a forest here in Oregon. 6 miles south-southeast of Cascadia, Oregon. A spontaneous combustus carnivorous. A spontaneous combustus carnivorous. There's no explosion here, guys. This is a tremor, a 1.0 tremor here. This is also a half mile deep. Okay? Demon Catman says spontaneous combustus carnivorous. You're right. It is. Richard, have a good night, brother. We appreciate you. Get some good rest. Get some very good rest. We love you and appreciate you. We appreciate your neighbors and friends there. God bless you all. We really do appreciate you. Anyway, let's go further south. I just love this, okay? I do. I get a kick out of it. I get a real charge out of it. Let's go northeast or southeast here. This is La Pine, Oregon. La Pine, Oregon. This is a minus 0.1 tremor. This is a minus 0.1 tremor, guys. Okay? 7 miles east of Cline, Oregon. Why is it minus 0.1? Any minus numbers, guys, any minus number indicate that it's in a hill. It's above sea level. Above sea level. However, guess how deep this quake is? It's 3.7 miles deep. 3.7 miles deep. This is a very deep quake. In reality, it's not deep, but it's a shallow quake, but it's deep within the crust. Okay? This is not nearly a surface quake. They want to say it is above sea level, but the actual quake is a deeper quake. Okay? 3.7 miles deep. Okay? It's incredible. They pinpoint a quake and then say it's near or above sea level. It's not. It's not. The other Cascadia quake today is over here in Northern California. Yes, for all intents and purposes, guys, it's in the Cascadia region. This is a 1.6 quake. This is 5 miles west of Rio Del, California. Rio Del is where we had a lot of damage from an 8.0 just off the coast, just about 3 or 4 months ago. Okay, so we have this 1.6, and we also have this one. This is a 2.9 3.0, 6 miles west southwest of Rio Del. Okay, so we're still having tremors and earthquakes in this area. Okay, aftershocks from that 8.0 earthquake that hit here several months ago. Now that's not the only one. Okay, I want to show you this. This is on the Blanco fracture zone. This is also out here in the Pacific Ocean off the coast of Bandon, Oregon. Bandon, Oregon. This is a 2.6 minor earthquake, again on the Blanco fracture zone, the Cascadia region, and this is a 2.8. So we've had 2 minor tremors here, or earthquakes. 2 minor earthquakes out here. No, nobody felt them. It's too far out in the water to feel these quakes, and it's not anywhere near land. Okay? So that's what happened here. Now, this is not where we're going to stop. Nowhere near where we're going to stop. I want to show you this. This is near Benton City, Washington, eastern Washington. It's a 1.5 tremor here. 1.5 tremor. Over here is Stanley, Idaho. Stanley, Idaho is the western side of the Yellowstone magma chamber. This is a 2.1 earthquake. Also in the same area, guys, there are faults here. Earthquake faults in this region. So this could be on the fault. It could also be magma related down below the surface. Now, this is 4.4 miles deep. Could be magma. Could be magma. We go west. This is in Lima, Montana. Lima, Montana. It's a 1.6 quake. 4.7 miles deep. 4.7 miles deep. This is north of Yellowstone. North and west of Yellowstone. Yellowstone Lake is here. Lima, Montana is way over here. Now, folks, there's a lot of things that people don't even realize here. Okay? There's a lot that goes on here west of Yellowstone. There are a ton of things going on. Okay? Now, I'm taking you to a place that I have yet visited. Yes, I visit here. Folks, this is where we had a 7.0 magnitude earthquake in 1959. A 7.0 magnitude earthquake hit here. Okay? Right in this area. Now they have estate homes here. This is Hebgen Lake. They have estate homes here. No, we don't have any earthquakes here today, but these are estate homes now. When we have another major quake, there's going to be a lot of destruction. There was quite a bit of destruction back in 1959. Unsecured masonry fell. Fireplaces fell. Brick facades and walls fell. A cabin fell into Hebgen Lake here. A roadway exited into the lake as a result of that earthquake. Damage was all over this area. Heavy damage. The earthquake was felt all the way into Canada. It was felt all the way south into St. George, Utah. That's how far it was felt. That's Hebgen Lake Estates. Okay? Things happen here. You don't see any earthquakes here in West Yellowstone, but we know there are. There's plenty of earthquakes there. They're not telling us about. As we go across the United States, we go over here. This happens to be Oklahoma. This is Calumet, Oklahoma. It's a 1.6 tremor. A 1.6 tremor. Folks, if there is a oil and gas pumping operation, pumps and jacks all over this area, if there's an earthquake within 6 to 10 miles of those pumps and jacks, then it is a gas and oil earthquake. Well, already I'm showing you pumps and jacks, aren't I? And I'm sure it's within that 6 to 10 miles away. Pumps and jacks, guys, right there. And up here. There's one. There's another. There's another up here. Unfortunately, I can't zoom in close enough. Pumps and jacks all over that area. Oil and gas quake. Oklahoma has 586,000 pumps and jacks. 586,000 pumps and jacks. Further to the east, this is Prague, Oklahoma, 5 miles northwest of Prague, Oklahoma. Prague, Oklahoma is right here, isn't it? Yepers. It certainly is. Well, guess what? We zoom in here. I don't see any, well, there might be some pumps and jacks here, but I can't get any closer. It looks like there's one there. Several of them in this area. And surely they're down over in Prague, 5 miles away. So that fits the tendency for an earthquake. It fits within 6 to 10 miles. It certainly is. Now, there's another earthquake that I really want to tell you about before we go off the air tonight. It's further over here to the east. Okay? No, it's not in the New Madrid Fault area, but I will admit there are earthquakes there. This one, folks, is in South Carolina. They say nothing ever happens here. I keep showing you earthquakes here. I have several of you that follow our EMA class here, and they're part of our EMA family. This, folks, is south-southwest of Ladson, South Carolina. This is a 2.5 magnitude earthquake. A 2.5 magnitude earthquake. Folks, this is tectonic. This is a tectonic earthquake. And it's not 3 miles south-southwest of Ladson. It's there. You can see the town here. You can see the town. Yeah, it might be 3 miles south-southwest of the center of town, but the town stretches out here. Okay? Now, if I were to show you seismograms, which I can probably tomorrow, you're going to see earthquakes here. You're going to see earthquakes because there are. This whole area is getting inundated with earthquakes because the Atlantic plate out here is putting pressure on the US and Canada, the North American continent, the Eastern Continental Divide. Okay, the Atlantic plate is going outward. It's going outward from the center of the Atlantic Ocean. Okay? The center of the Atlantic plate is expanding. It's pushing east out here on Africa. It's putting pressure west over here on the east coast of North America. Canada and the United States having earthquakes. There are going to be a lot more. Promise you. We come down here to Puerto Rico. We have one earthquake off the Cayman Ridge here. This is a 3.7 small earthquake. They say it's 83 miles north of San Juan, Puerto Rico. Yes, it is. But it's on the earthquake superhighway called the Cayman Ridge here. The Cayman Ridge comes out of Guatemala. It goes east from Guatemala and just south of the Cayman Islands. It goes north, it continues east over north of Jamaica. It cruises past on the southern side of Cuba. Then it comes over here on the north side of Haiti and the Dominican Republic here, and it continues to cruise east north of Puerto Rico. And it dropped this earthquake. It dropped this earthquake northwest of Puerto Rico here. This is a 3.0 earthquake here, small quake. Over here, this is in the Mona Passage. The Mona Passage. It's a 3.3 magnitude earthquake here. Over here on the western side of Puerto Rico, they say this is 2.7 earthquake in the Mona Passage. It's not. It's not in the Mona Passage. This is on the west coast of Puerto Rico, right there. As you can see, it's nowhere near the coast. It's nowhere, excuse me, I'm sorry. It is near the coast. It's nowhere in the Mona Passage in the water. It's way out here in the field. Okay? Again, they can't even tell us where these quakes are. They can show us, but they can't tell us. They're wrong. They're just plain wrong. Now, USGS just played a problem for me. And we're going to resolve that problem just momentarily because I want to finish showing you what has happened over here in Puerto Rico. Okay? So I'm going to get out of that and go right back into it. I can deal with these people. Okay? Let's go back down here to Puerto Rico. Okay? Right back down here. All these earthquakes down here in southwestern Puerto Rico, These are aftershocks of two major earthquakes back in 2019, 4 years ago. This organization right here caused those quakes. This organization right here caused those two 8.0 and 8.4 quakes. We triangulated where that energy came from. That organization right here has a setup in Norway. They also have several sites in Russia, and one of them they set off for this as well. They also set off one of the facilities over in northwestern Australia. They triangulated this area in Puerto Rico on December 28th, 2019. There was an 8.0 earthquake early in the morning, devastating this area. 2 days later, they heated it up again and caused an 8.4 earthquake on December 28th, further devastating this area, damaging homes and businesses and property, farms, ranches. They devastated this whole area. Businesses all over southwestern Puerto Rico. And as you can see, this area of Puerto Rico is pretty populated, isn't it? Well, yeah, it's pretty populated all along this coastal area. These earthquakes damaged buildings, property, farms and ranches, and down here in southwestern Puerto Rico along the coast, right along the coast. There was a great big huge sandstone arch, similar to what people would see in Arches National Park in Utah. And the second quake, the 8.4, took that down as well. This is what evil men do. That's what evil men do. So we have this earthquake here, a 2.2 near Palmarejo, Puerto Rico. Further southeast, this quake here, a 2.4. It says 2 miles south of Palmero, Puerto Rico. This earthquake here, this is a 2.1 near Guanica, Puerto Rico. Minor earthquake. Off the coast, it's a 2.5, 9 miles southeast of Guanica, Puerto Rico. Off the coast. And this one here, this is a 2.1. Southwest of Guanica, Puerto Rico. Okay? This one here, this is a 2.7, just barely southwest of Indios, Puerto Rico. This earthquake here may or may not be even tied to the damaging quakes that happened, but it might be. This is a 1.9, 2.0 near Laurel, Puerto Rico. Coto, Laurel, Puerto Rico. A 1.9, 2.0 quake. Okay? This one here, this is also a drop off from the Cayman Ridge. This is a 3.9, 4.0 moderate earthquake, 73 miles northwest of Cruz Bay. They have it northeast, it's northwest of Cruz Bay, Virgin Islands, U.S. Virgin Islands. Again, they cannot tell us where these earthquakes are. They can show us, but they can't tell us because they get it wrong. Okay? I've taken you on a tour of all around the world, showing you where earthquakes are. Since we left the South Pacific, there's been an additional earthquake down here in New Zealand. This is near Lincoln, New Zealand. This is a 3.2 small quake. Lincoln, New Zealand here. Okay? You can see where it's at. Just barely south of Lincoln, New Zealand. Okay? This is on the South Island of New Zealand. The South Island of New Zealand. You guys may have heard of Christchurch, New Zealand. Guess what? Would you like to see Christchurch, New Zealand? Christchurch, New Zealand's right in here, guys. Christchurch, New Zealand. Okay? New Zealand's a sprawling area, isn't it? Oh yeah. A lot of people live here. A lot of people live here. Now, I told you about those two earthquake faults. Okay? This one is on the westernmost earthquake fault. That's 6.0, right? Well, guess what? Let me show you something else here, too. I want to show you this because for some reason the USGS is not showing you this. Okay? I think they're full of crap. Okay? You don't see that westernmost earthquake fault there, do you? Nope. Because they allegedly don't want us to see it. Well, I'm going to increase the size of my mug here, my webcam, because I want you to see this map. And the only way I can do that is increasing the size of this mug here, my mug shot. Okay? Look at this, guys. This clearly shows those earthquake faults. Those clearly show the earthquake faults, don't they? Oh, doggone. Let me show you something real quick. Right up here, this is Tonga. This is Fiji area. This was just south of Fiji here. Okay? Over here is Vanuatu. Over here is the Solomon Islands here. Okay? The Solomon Islands is right in here. Okay? They didn't tell us. They didn't tell us anything about this, but in the Kermadec Islands, we have a 4.0 here. There's two earthquakes there. There's a 4.0 right there. And also, just south of there, right next to it, is a 4.01. A 4.01. Two 4.0s in the Kermadec Islands. And USGS did not share those. Look at all the earthquakes over in New Zealand today. They didn't share that either, did they? Just one more thing that they don't share. And just north of the supervolcano in New Zealand. Just north of the supervolcano in New Zealand is Kinloch Waikato, New Zealand, with a 2.82 magnitude earthquake just north of the supervolcano. Interesting, huh? Oh yeah. Over here in the Catcher's Mitt, okay, the Bay of Plenty, a 2.4. Right there, 2.4. And out here inside the Bay of Plenty is a 2.73, the Catcher's Mitt. Over here off the northeastern coast here is Tarara, Gisborne, New Zealand, is a 2.66. A 2.66. So we have a bunch of twos all over New Zealand here. Literally all over New Zealand, guys. Again, and over in the Kermadec Islands, the USGS didn't show that either. Okay? Look at all those earthquakes in South America that they didn't show. A ton of them, huh? A ton of them. Over here in Panama, look at all those earthquakes in Panama. Okay? Three point five. 3.5, 3.5, 3.5, 3.8, 4 3.5s and a 3.8 there in Panama. Okay? In Panama. Now, we go over to Costa Rica. This is a 3.3 right here in Costa Rica. That's a 3.3 there. We go north of there. Doggone it. We go north of there into Nicaragua, and we have a 2.5. There's a 2.5 in Nicaragua. North of there, we start getting a bunch of earthquakes, don't we? We have a 9.0 blob right there. Okay? A 9 here. This is off the coast of Nicaragua. This one's at the coast of Nicaragua, and these others are just off the coast of Nicaragua. That's a 2.5 there. Okay? Then we go over to Mexico. Good old Mexico. Good old Mexico. Okay? We have a bunch of 4s all over Mexico. If any of you have been monitoring the USGS or earthquake trackers, all kinds of 4.0s here in southern Mexico. Folks, we're about to have another 5.0 earthquake here in southern Mexico shortly. Shortly. As we go north, oh, come on. It's not showing me places and the magnitudes of these quakes. However, just on the coast of southern Mexico, here's another 6 earthquakes. Okay? And we go north into the Riviera of Mexico, on land this time. On land. We have another 4 earthquakes here. Okay? They're not allowing me. Why is that? Yes, they are. They finally let me see this. A 3.4, 3.5, 3.6, and another 3.6 there. So we have some 3.5s or 3.5s, 3.6s here, and further south we have a bunch of 4s. A bunch of 4s. All over that area, guys. Okay? All over that area. It's happening. It's happening. Okay? Now, I want to show you one more thing, and then we're going to leave geology back for a little while. Okay? This is Baja California and northern Mexico. Here's a 3.7 just south of our border. Alido, Saltillo, Baja California, just south of the border. Right next to it. Oh, doggone it. Right next to it is a 2.8. So 3.7 or 2.08. Okay? But where is this? Okay, I'm going to show you. Folks, this is a volcano, Cerro Prieto volcano. This earthquake is right next to the drill points that pull steam from that volcano. Okay, so 2.0 earthquake that's volcanic related because we've drilled into the magma chamber of that volcano. Okay, then south of there, it probably has nothing to do with that volcano. This is a 3.02. A 3.02. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've spoken about tonight? Any questions? I know I've talked about a lot of stuff, but I have some good things to talk about. Michael McKinney says, anything happening in California? I just showed you a few things over there in Southern California and south of the border. Oh yeah, there are earthquakes all over Southern California. Tons of them. Chico, Santa Barbara, actually south of Santa Barbara. Out in Mira Loma, Loma Linda, Cabazon, Riverside, Hemet. Oh yeah, Los Angeles. Can you spell L.A.? I just spelled it. Yes, Los Angeles. Joanne Sag is asking, why was Puerto Rico hit? Why was that so important that they took it out? I'd like to know that too. Almost 250,000 people got inconvenienced for a very long time there in southwestern Puerto Rico. I think they were experimenting with the power of those facilities. That's my personal opinion. Juanito says, can Cerro Prado become active again? Yes. Yes, it could. Occasionally we do see earthquakes there. Yes, there has been some minor activity around Cerro Prado volcano, but not much. The earthquakes that we're seeing are just around the south side of Cerro Prado, but they are because man has drilled into the upper magma chambers of Cerro Prado. That's why those earthquakes are hitting. Michael McGinney says, oh yeah, my neck of the woods, yeah. Los Angeles is getting hit. If I have time tonight, or tomorrow night, I will talk about Los Angeles and what's happening. I'll also try to get into New Madrid. And if I can't get into New Madrid tomorrow night, I'll talk about it Wednesday night for sure. Okay? Because New Madrid is hot. Southern California is going to go, guys, I promise. I promise. It's going to go. It's going to go in a big way. Okay? It's going to go in a very big way. Now, I want to show you something that's happening or has happened earlier today in Salt Lake City. Okay? This happened in Salt Lake City. There was a cattle drive early this morning. Let me show you that part of that cattle drive.
Well, if you're in downtown Salt Lake City this morning and did a double take after seeing this, you're not dreaming.
If you've been in Utah more than, a year, then you didn't do a double take. You said, yep, this is what happens.
That happens.
This is what we do. Our state going big, kicking off Rodeo Week with a cattle drive to celebrate the days of 47. News specialist Kara Bracken joins us now from the Utah State Fair Park with the perfect hat for the occasion. Tip of the cap to you there, Kara.
Thank you, Dan Sharon. We're getting our yeehaw on right now. So they are getting ready here. They're dragging the arena, getting ready for the Days of 47 rodeo that's happening right here. Earlier this morning, we saw that cattle drive happen. We saw the governor out there. Lots of people enjoying it, getting pumped up for this. This is what we live for. So that said, I do want to show you, if you take a look over here, of course, they're dragging the field. They've been working all morning on that. And anyways, we've talked with some people who were there. We even got to hitch a ride with a team, a husband and wife group. They were riding with Park City Sleigh Rides, and they gave us a ride on their own wagon. So we got to ride on top of that. As we were there, they said this is going to be their first rodeo, their first time doing this. They say that they live for this kinds of moments, and they're so glad to be here.
You got it.
It's awesome. I mean, all the people that you see, it's just, everybody just comes together and makes it a great event.
Not bad. Yeah, you don't see these Longhorns going downtown like this very often at all. So.
What do you think they do? So one thing that was super special in this was seeing everyone coming out of their businesses with their attire on, wondering what was going on. But of course, this is how we do it in Utah. And a reminder that the days of 47, that's happening from Wednesday through Saturday and on Monday. For now, though, reporting live here, I'm Kara Bracken for KSL 5 News. I'll send it back to you guys inside.
KSL 5 News brought us that. I had, actually, before this video was put on here, I had a video showing the cattle drive through downtown Salt Lake. Not just momentary, but it was a longer video. But they took that down and put this one up. And that's fine. You still got to see the cattle drive. Now, one of the things that you don't often see is a huge parade as a result of pioneers that crossed the United States back in the 1800s, including my relatives, my ancestors, my grandmother, crossed the plains from the East Coast and from Sweden. And today there was a parade in downtown Salt Lake City, the Days of 47 parade in downtown, marking the first settlers that arrived in downtown Salt Lake City. Let me show you this.
All right, Kara Bracken, what a fun assignment.
Great hat, too.
Love the hat.
We can't wait to say hello to all of you when we're on the float on the Days of 47 parade on Monday. Keep it right here throughout the week. Of course, we're going to celebrate leading up to the Days of 47. A lot of events taking place all week long.
I love Kara rocking that pink hat. That was
works.
great. Well, this week, then culminating in the Days of 47 parade next Monday. Leading up to that, we will bring that to you right here on KSL TV at 9 a.m.
The crowd out there.
I know.
And we're going to see some new entries that people have never seen before.
It's a great morning here. Days of 47 parade among one of the longest running parades in the entire United States. So it's kind of cool that we have that mantra, right? That one of the longest running. And it celebrates the first pioneers' arrival into the Salt Lake Valley, of course. This year's theme is Pioneer Courage, Live It.
That's a good one all year,
It's
a
a
good
great
mantra
one.
for us. The history of this parade dates all the way back to 1849 when the Vanguard Pioneer Company entered into the Salt Lake Valley with Brigham Young and set today's celebrations in motion. That first parade was held 2 years after the pioneers entered the valley. The celebration opened with a cannon fire, the Nauvoo Brass Band, and the ringing of the Nauvoo Bell.
And there has been a Pioneer Day parade held in Salt Lake City nearly every single year since then, with over 100 entries. In this year's parade, it is clear it has grown since those early years.
Yep, you got people fanning themselves. They got their sunscreen on. We're seeing they're ready for a parade. We want to give you a bird's eye view of downtown Salt Lake City. We've got Chopper 5. This is Chopper 5 live. Hopefully we can show you that because you're going to get views that you will never get otherwise.
This
of
is
the
the
bird's
Salt
eye
Lake
from
City Police
Okay,
motorcycle
I can hear it. It's up there right
all
now.
right, so as you can see, people are getting ready for the parade. It's a fun thing to see how people have camped out. It's tradition for a lot of them, and there are a lot of names and groups that are attending this parade for the first time.
This
So
is
cool.
really
I
cool
love
to
this.
see
Again, we
if
talk
you're
about
down
more
at
than
ground
100
level.
entries, and what's really neat about this is the creativity that goes into it and the hard work. We know, especially with any of these floats, a lot of times stakes from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, they get a call and say, hey, listen, you got to provide a float, and it's like, best of luck to you. Here's kind of what you need to do, but a lot of times there's not a blueprint. So you got people who've never done something like this before, and they have to come up with it on their own. And you get people who take up their own time and volunteer their time. And it's so cool, some of the ideas they come up with.
Every year, it is amazing to watch these parades go down the route and to see, wow, that's how they showed the theme, and that's the creativity that they made on the float. So this is a great parade, and it's a great.
It comes together for the Days of 47. You look up the road right now, you'll see the tracks going by, so it was a bad time to do this, but you've got the police motorcade in front of it. We're getting ready to kick off the parade. We got peoples lined up all across both sides of the street, and right up there we got FM 100.3. We've got our own Rebecca Cressman. She's going to be doing some broadcasting, and so sporadically throughout the parade route, you'll have different radio stations telling people about the floats as they go by. So we'll be doing the same thing here, up in the air, back in the booth with Mike.
Ladies' way to represent Utah, their academics, their pioneer heritage. they've got the complete package to be Days of 47 royalty.
That's a smooth wave. You know, listen, both of us, we've been on a couple of floats, and I don't think our wave is even close to that. There's an art to it.
They look so smooth. You're right. I mean, again, we'll start to notice the details of the float. You've got the cityscape there in different sparkling colors, and then the history of the hand carts.
Yep.
Linda Covington is asking if I've been to this parade. Yes, I have. Several
each
times.
of these floats, you're going to see a different interpretation by whoever put
yes,
the float
like
together.
Rob, I'm
so
a cowboy at heart.
It's fun to see the creativity.
There's that motorcycle team.
Yes. All right, before we go to break, we've got the Unified Police Motor Squad. Not to be outdone here. They've got, maybe they coordinated on their routines too, Mike. But as we hear them and see them making their formations, we'll take you to break and we'll be right back with the KSL Days of 47 Parade.
Today's parade coverage is...
It's crazy how you sleep and operate.
Yeah, don't have claustrophobia and get one. Okay, we've got the Department of Veterans Affairs here, Utah Department of Veterans and Military Affairs, assists veterans and current members of the U.S. Armed Forces and their dependents in numerous capacities. Their vision: make Utah the best state in the nation to perform military missions and be recognized as a premier location for veterans, service members, and their families to live.
The colorful designs, and everybody along the route, though, is so excited to say hello because you want to get out and celebrate this pioneer history, ancestry for those who have the roots here, for those who have been transplanted here. I moved here a few years ago. It's contagious. You feel it. Now we've got some dancing going on, too, which, you know, whether it's karaoke or a dance-off, you know, Sheriff Park and Dan Restone are going to get involved. Ashley Moser here too. So we're going to make our way along this parade route here, along South Temple, and eventually do that kind of dog leg as we head down 2nd East down to 9th South, and we'll see you at Liberty Park too. But
their heritage and their history. Salt Lake City PD made up of about 558 sworn and non-sworn personnel who work in a variety of divisions. So that's a huge operation. And listen, you're on the hot seat
all the time,
most
right?
every day, aren't you? So
Space Force says I like the Shriners
he's on the hot seat today. This is his time to get off of it.
This is the one time he can wave and just be friendly and I mean, not that he's friendly all the time, but you know, this is a payoff for all the work they do.
It certainly is.
Let's do our next keyword.
Firefighters and their families on top of the fire department engines. That's incredible. Up until I moved to Salt Lake, I never saw that happen.
Submit your answers. It's in our KSL Facebook page.
Family members on top of the fire engine.
And the winner's going to be announced on our Facebook page after 6 p.m. So you're going to want to keep tabs on that to see if you're one of the big winners.
Here's the Salt Lake City Fire Department. Again, these guys have been the heroes and the people we hope we don't hear going out in these busy, hot, dry days. And we've been, we and the governor and the firefighters have all been trying to tout the message to be safe with fireworks, with campfires. Just don't do them if you don't have to.
Kicking off the Days of 47.
Where's the KSL float, guys?
This is a party. If you can't hear how loud it is, you are missing out on everything that it has to offer.
That guy is a friend of mine.
Hey, Alex, let's do a little walking and dancing.
His name's Alex Cabrera. He's a good guy.
What do you think about this parade?
I think it is awesome. It's a good day to wake up. I don't like getting up early like you do, but when you know there's a parade, you can get up early. I get my steps in already. I can have McDonald's 3 times today because of this. I love this parade.
McDonald's.
Makes you wonder how they came up with that and what's under there that holds it together.
I guess it's some kind of styrofoam, but it would be cooler if it was actual marshmallows.
Wouldn't it?
Right?
Yes.
You wouldn't see much of it by the end of the float, either melted or people going up there grabbing a bite. Okay, this is the Harriman, Utah Black Ridge Stake. Celebrating pioneer courage as they share the story of the Sweetwater Crossing. Courageous young men from rescue wagons carried exhausted men, women, and children of the Willie Handcart Company through a frozen river.
It is the crown jewel of all parades, and KSL TV has been a part of that tradition since the early days of television. On July 1st, 1949, KSL TV began its first ever broadcast from a building on the corner of South Temple and Main Street. The first program aired was a cartoon and a puppet show called Lucky Pup. Arthur Godfrey was popular then, and at 9:30 at night, KSL would sign off the air with a weather forecast and a news program that lasted all of 5 minutes. Just weeks later, on July 24th, the station would televise its first ever remote broadcast from the streets of Salt Lake City. The annual Days of 47 parade would be brought into the homes of those fortunate few who actually had television sets. Years ago, KSL News anchor Dick Norris reminisced with some of the early television pioneers who helped make this happen.
The thrill of it, you knew that everything you did was never been done before.
I guess the first remote we ever did was the 24th of July parade. Now, this was just a month after we were on the air. We didn't have extra cameras. We only had studio cameras. And so we took one camera and took the cord and dropped it down to Main Street in front of Warren TV, put a camera there. And then we took the other camera. We didn't have any more line, so we took the other camera, took it out on the ledge on the 6th floor, and right on the corner above Brigham Young Monument, and put it on there, so you had a bird's eye view directly down on the parade.
We knew nothing about filters, but had no experience with outside lighting. And I remember they stretched the phone out to me.
These broadcasting pioneers had to invent equipment and develop technique on the spot. There were no schools, no books had been written.
Yeah, those were the days of heartache and experimentation.
During those first days and weeks, everything was an experiment. Prior to this time, only those in attendance could watch the parade, and now over 7 decades later, KSL continues the proud tradition broadcasting the parade. Now millions have had the opportunity of experiencing it.
Isn't that cool? I just wanted to bring you a little flavor of what we had in Salt Lake City, where I used to live. Everybody loved it. They have 2 ways to celebrate July. The first is the 4th of July, and the second one celebrates my ancestors coming in to Salt Lake, some of yours as well. So guys, I rejoice in this. I just wanted to show you a little bit about my own heritage of the pioneers. My grandparents moved to from Salt Lake City to Pocatello, Idaho, where I was born. And then we literally spread out all over the United States. Today, there are Tylers in Salt Lake City Valley, tons of them. There's Tylers in southeastern Idaho. There are Tylers all over the United States and California, all over, literally. And I believe there's a few in Hawaii. Anyway, that's my story, and I'll stick to it. Guys, I wanted to share that with you. But there's something else that I want to show you tonight before we sign off. This is part of my program, okay? I'm talking about freedom here. Spencer W. Kimball said, the only way we can keep our freedom is to work at it. Not some of us, but all of us. Not some of the time, but all of the time. So if you value your citizenship and want to keep it for yourself, your children and their children, give it your faith, your belief, and give it your active support in civic affairs. That comes from the teaching of Spencer W. Kimball. Guys, I leave that with you. If you have your faith, you want to keep your freedom. We talked a lot about freedom in the past week, ever since I saw that movie. This is the way to do it. Get involved. Make sure your voice is heard. Make sure your voice is heard, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters. That's how we keep our freedom. I wish you the best. I hope that you all have gotten something out of tonight's broadcast. I hope the people in Canada have the Lord's blessings after their tribulation this past weekend and during the past few months. God bless you all. It doesn't matter where you live in the world. God bless you all. May you all have a good night. May God lift you up and bless you. Brothers and sisters, I love you. I love you to pieces. And that's the honest truth. I would not be here if it wasn't for that. I ask the Lord to bless you. God be with you until we meet again. I hope you have a great night. We will see you tonight if something else happens. Otherwise, we'll see you back here tomorrow evening, hopefully closer to 6 p.m. as we normally have. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. God bless.